Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday. I'm going to be walking you through what to expect on this Sunday. I'm going to go through everything except for the details of the large group lesson, which I'll do in a separate video for those of you that are teaching large group this week. So when you arrive, you need to get here around 9:20, and you're going to walk in through here and go into this space. It is labeled as 4th and 5th grade. It is also the huddle room. So you're going to come into here and find a seat. So you're gonna do what we always do, talk about any upcoming announcements, pray together as a team, and then disperse. So if you are a 4th and 5th grade small group teacher, you are already where you need to be, and you're just gonna stay right here. So 4th and 5th grade, this week is gonna look different. I'm going to write some notes next to the schedule so that you know, but this is Memory Verse Sunday. The 4th Sunday of the month is always for Memory Verse, and so our schedule looks different on those days. Essentially, instead of going to large group at 10:10 like we normally do, we're not going to go to large group until after Memory Verse. So when you come in, you're just going to visit and chat until 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock is when you're going to start your first activity, which is the Belong activity. So you can see the schedule here. This is the normal schedule for everyone. The only thing that changes is that these activities here, Believe, is going to get bumped up before Memory Verse time. So every classroom has one of these carts, and they are labeled and have the materials that you need. So the top shelf says lesson plans and take-home sheets. So if you open it up, if you're teaching 4th and 5th grade, it has the upstairs key if you were to go upstairs, and it has 2 copies of the lesson plans, one for each teacher, as well as the take-home sheets that the kids take home as they are dismissed at the end. And then looking at the other parts of the cart, you see Belong, Believe, and Become. Those are the 3 activities that will repeat every week. And so if there are any materials that go with those activities, they are in those bins. This week, you have a bean bag for Belong. You're actually going to have 2. I'm going to put a second one in there. Believe, you just need sticky notes, and Become, you have another pad of sticky notes. So we're going to take a look at your lesson plans. 4th and 5th grade's lesson plans are different than everyone else's. You can find these electronically online if you want to look at them in more detail. But the short version is you're going to do Belong, and ignore the times on here. We made the change after I'd already printed them. So we are going to do Belong and Believe before Memory Verse Sunday. So before they do the Memory Verse in the sanctuary. So in the Belong part, keeping promises, breaking promises, you're going to turn your page, and you see it here. It is color coded. It says Belong, and it has the activity here. It is scripted if you prefer that. If you prefer not to, you don't have to. Up on the board, you're going to see that little thing there that's in orange, and that is 4th and 5th grade tips. As you were teaching in here, if you notice something that works really well for this group, write it in there. And something that we feel like works really well with this group is letting them split up into a boy group and a girl group for one of the activities. So for the Belong activity, we are going to have them split into boy, girl, boy, girl. So one teacher will lead the boys on one side of the room, and one teacher will lead the girls on the other side of the room. So that's why we need the 2 bean bags for this activity. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to come together as a whole group to do Sticky Verse. That's your second activity. This is Believe. Every week you have Belong, Believe, Become. Belong is what it sounds like, belonging to your group. Believe is looking at the Bible, working on developing your beliefs. And then the final activity is Become, which is putting those beliefs to action. So you're going to have a chance to get through these 2, and you're going to be listening for when they call your group to the sanctuary for Memory Verse Sunday. I'm hoping that it will time really well to just get these 2 done and not have very much time in the middle. If for some reason you're finding yourself with a lot of extra time before they're ready for us in the sanctuary, then you can go ahead and start Become, but just know you're not going to get this finished. You might want to start it, but wait until after large group is done to finish it. So after large group is done, you're going to do this activity, Become, God's Promises Charades. And again, you just needed a pack of sticky notes for it, and so they're going to use that to do this activity. Following that, you're going to move into Wrap Up, which is kind of tying together our story for this week with our lives, praying together, setting a challenge for the week. And then finally is Discipleship Discussion, which is tying our story to real world. So our story this week will tie into feeling disappointed. and so kind of how that works in our real lives. So every small group has one that looks like this. 4th and 5th grades activities are different than the others, but K and 1st, it will look just like this, but with different activities. 2nd and 3rd, same thing. It'll look just like this, but with different activities. Also, 4th and 5th, you're gonna need material buckets this week, so I moved them down here. Extra Bibles are there, stickers for when they get checked out. So the other thing I added into here was I added a banner. The kids are really hoping in this room to decorate it for themselves. So I got a blank banner. And so you can open this up and let the kids use Sharpies to decorate one part of the banner for themselves. They can write their name, they can write their favorite Bible verse, they can write maybe one thing that is important to them in their lives. And so the goal is there's 40 total, so 20 on each banner. And so as kids join our group, we'll be adding more and more, and we'll just hang them up above the dry erase board as they get finished. Also, before I leave this room, it's important to point out that we also have the iPads and the walkie-talkies on this back counter. So when you leave huddle, you're going to need one iPad per room to do check in and check out, and also a walkie-talkie so you can be alerted when it's time to come to the sanctuary for memory verse, as well as when communion is starting and its parents are going to be starting to make their way back. So I'm going to cut through. Normally there is not a cut. Normally this will be closed. You have to go in the hallway. But just for the sake of saving time, this is our 2nd and 3rd grade room. There are 2 tables set up. Same thing. You have material buckets. So in our 2nd and 3rd grade room, it's a very similar setup. You see the schedule. You see that is left over from an activity in a prior week. You see the note about 10:10. That's normally when you will go to large group. And again, tips and tricks. We don't have any for 2nd and 3rd grade yet. So if you're serving in 2nd and 3rd grade and you find something that works really well for them, let us know. And again, lesson plans are here. Belong, believe, become. So lesson plans and take-home sheets are on the first bucket. Any materials you need for become would be in here, which you don't need any this week. Believe, you need several. And become, also you need several. So all of your materials are in the bucket. Hopefully everything should be there with the exception of things that would come in that material bin that are on the tables. Feel free to pull the tables away from the wall and use the extra chairs with them. We keep them against the wall to create more space for the activities where they have to make big circles and things, because it is a rather large group in here. I'm going to go through this for both. The kindergarten and 1st grade and 2nd and 3rd grade have the exact same activities right now. So this is what they're going to look like. Again, when they come in, they can just chat until about 10 o'clock. If you are in kindergarten, 1st grade, they're not going to just chat. They have coloring sheets at their desks because they're still young enough that they would enjoy doing that the first 10 minutes. Then from 10 to 10:10, they're going to do the belong activity, which is new name. So again, if you turn the page, you're going to see it right here, new name. And then they're going to go ahead and jump straight into the believe activity, because we're going to be waiting for that call to get to the sanctuary so that we know when to come do the memory verse, which is the Starry Night craft. This is going to take a while. They're going to need black cardstock and the chalk and the star stickers. Again, these activities are always scripted if that is something that you like. You don't have to use a script. If you feel comfortable not using a script, comfortable with what we're teaching this week, then please just use your words to connect with the kids. But if you're feeling uncomfortable with it and the script is a good way to help guide you, then that is totally fine too. So they're going to start this. I don't know if they're going to get through it by the time it's time to go to the memory verse Sunday, but they can try, do their best. If you're in kindergarten 1st and they're still stuck in the middle of this, make sure they leave it on top of the tables, because when we come in there for a large group, we don't want to be like stepping on their materials. So these 2 will hopefully be done by the time they call us to do memory verse Sunday. After we recite the memory verse, we're going to go do large group. And then after large group, when we come back, we're going to jump into the become activity, which this week is a promise chain. Again, it's a little bit more intensive than usual. All the materials are in there. I did pre-cut the verses so they can choose them in there. And then after that is the discussion pieces. So there's the wrap up, same as what we saw with 4th and 5th grade, where you're tying what we did to, or with the story that we looked at, to real life. We're praying together, and then we are saying goodbye, but then also the discipleship discussion, the same thing about how our Bible story from this week relates to our real lives today. So again, our schedule is a little bit different than what you see up there. We're going to start in small group. do our check-ins there and stay together with our small group. Do the belong and the believe activities. Around that time is when you will be called into the sanctuary to do memory verse together. So you're going to just line up as a whole group outside those doors. After Memory Verse Sunday, we're going to go do large group in the large group room. And then when that is done, we will come back and do the Become, small group wrap up, and then discipleship discussion to end it all together. And that is all that the whole group needs to know for small group. I'm going to go ahead and make a second video for if you're teaching large groups. If you want to know the details of that, or if you are teaching large group, then you can watch the additional video with the large group information.